students, like we are extremely delighted that among us, like we have former ambassador of India to Zimbabwe, Mr. Jitendra Kumar Tripathi. So he has been a foreign services officer, and on the dais we have Mr. S. Ansari sir also, the director of Lukmaan IAS. So like we as a team, like Lukmaan IAS team, like we endeavor to assist and help all the aspirants who have qualified the civil services mains exam this year. And like on this endeavor, like we are planning to assist you through mock interviews as well. So like as part of the mock interviews, like we are inviting our dignitaries, like former officers of civil services from like different services, like Mr. J.K. Tripathi sir is there. He's from Indian Foreign Services. And so like we have already floated the interview guidance program. So this particular program will be absolutely free of cost for all the aspirants who have qualified the mains exam, irrespective of the fact whether they are students of Lukmaan IAS or not. Means like it is open for all students who have qualified civil services mains exam this year. And as part of the interview guidance program, like UPSC has declared the result on 6th of December, and from 8th of December UPSC has opened the window where you can apply, where you can fill the detailed application form too. And many of the aspirants like among you have lot of like queries, they have lot of doubt.
So congratulations first of all, and best wishes for your rest of your So just to tell in brief, congratulations and best wishes for your final result. We will be conducting sessions, mock sessions, and sir will tell you about DAF, about other aspects. He will share also his experience, and at the same time we'll conduct some classes, especially for public administration, and when we'll conduct that class, we'll inform, you will get received message, mail through that, you can attend, you can get recorded lecture also. The rest I think Zayadu will talk.
Thank you, sir. So like many of you have joined the interview guidance program in online mode also. So those students who have applied for interview guidance program, for them like we have shared the Zoom link, and other students are joining through YouTube. So through YouTube, some of the students may be writing their comments like like whatever queries they have. So I'll be sharing those comments with sir, so that sir will be addressing those queries as well. And for offline students, whosoever has visited over here, so sir will be addressing your queries as well, and sir will be taking the interview guidance program. So I hope the online students, like you are able to hear us properly. Just let us know like if we are audible. Okay, all right. So online students are there through Zoom, and like many students are there through YouTube. So YouTube students will not be able to speak. They'll be able to like type. So if they type something, so like that I'll be sharing. So these are some of the detailed application forms.
No, this is DAF 1.
It is DAF 2, sir. Okay, DAF 1. This is DAF 2.
This is as per latest.
Latest, yes, sir.
The cadres and
yes, sir.
Railway Management Service, which has been included.
Right, right. It is there. Right.
Okay. Well, a very good afternoon to all of you, my dear young friends. And it enthralls me and it gives me encouragement and also remembrance. 40 years ago, I was also in the same situation as you are. And I am not a Delhite. I come from Allahabad. And I saw, those days there were not many interview institutes, not many coaching institutes. There was only one Rao's IAS, Rao's Study Circle 2. So, but first thing what I should stress upon is, do not take it as something very big, very high, and which is a big mountain to cross. No. If you behave in interview like you are, like your own self, that is what matters. Anyway, we will come to that later. Now, coming to DAF 2, which you will have to fill in. The first and foremost thing that you must remember is, everybody is okay in English? Yes. First and foremost thing that you have to remember is, you should always be truthful. Speak or write about which you know. Like you don't write something just to impress the interviewer, because then you will be in a big soup. You will be in a big problem. If you try to impress your interviewer, they are candid enough, they are smart enough to take you from your hole where you seek to hide. So, coming to DAF application form 2. Now, mother language, I don't think it needs any explanation. Mother language, place of birth. Now, place of birth. Some people, some students or some aspirants write not their place of birth if they are born in a village, in a remote area, in a small city, but they would write a bigger place, a bigger city. No problem in writing that, but then always remember that you should not unwillingly disclose to interviewer that you were born somewhere else. Because if you are lying, then lie can be easily exposed at some time when you are in heat of the moment or the interview is in full progress. So try to write correctly where you were born. Now, and the place you were born should be well known to you. It is not that you were born in a village and you came back to a middle class town or cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta, Chennai, etc. And then if you are asked about the village you were born or the township you were born in, and you are unable to reply. So try to have, anyway, right now you can write whatever you want, which your place, but try to have as much knowledge about the place as you can, and especially the specialities, peculiarities of the place, because that is what they are going to ask you. And they will, and so subtly they will ask that you won't realize that this question has come up and you will be taken off guard. I tell you from my example, I did my masters in political science from Chhattisgarh. Then they asked about Chhattisgarh, and one of my hobbies I wrote theatre, drama. So they said, okay, there was a very shrewd lady, Madam Dastur. She said, okay, so you are interested in drama, in theatre, in histrionics. I said, yes. So which dramas have you seen? Which dramas have you acted in? And when I explained, the next question, you know what was? What is Asian drama? Have you heard about Asian drama?
Yes.
Gunnar Middle's book on Indian economy, Asian economy. So they changed the track all of a sudden and they tried to bowl me out. But luckily I had read something about Indian, Asian drama, so I escaped. So they will certainly try to pin you, try to corner you. It is not that they are on witch hunting, but they will try to corner you on the place you were born and its surroundings. So never give false information, or at least never give the information on which you cannot have any knowledge. Now, post office, city, town, village, district, name of father, name of mother, nationality of father, nationality of mother, father's profession, mother's profession. Now, profession. You must know as much as possible about your father's or about your parents' profession. No, there is no harm in saying that my father is an agriculturist. He is a farmer. Farming is not a bad thing. But then, if he is a farmer, you also must know something about farming. If your mother is something, nurse, doctor, teacher, you must know about something, about things related to your mother's job. Even if she is housewife. Generally, nowadays trend is that you don't call housewife, you call homemaker. Because she is 24-hour working round the clock, without any salary, without any gratuity, without any pension. So, don't try to degrade her occupation if she is a housemaker. Now, if your father is in service, post held by him, if retired, indicate the post held by him at the time of his retirement. There shouldn't be any problem in that. But the only thing, as I repeat, you should know more about your father's service. Because you have seen in the last 20 years, you have seen your father serve in the same department or do the same job or occupation. Be it doctor, be it businessman, be it whatever. So you should know something more about your father's business or occupation, so that you are not caught off guard when you are asked a question about it. Next is annual income of your father. Many of you will say that no, I don't know annual income, my father never revealed it to me, my mother never told it to me. No. You are big enough, mature enough, grown up enough to know what your father's income is. And one thing, don't reveal any illegal income, if at all any. Though in today's society, some of you might be having parents who will be earning through unlawful means. But do not reveal it, do not count it in this, because you will be in trouble. Now, annual income of your mother, state to which your father originally belongs. This also you should have some idea. Suppose your father belongs to Bihar or West Bengal or Odisha for that purpose. He has come down for a job in Delhi and settled here. But you know that your father belongs to that place, and probably you would have gone sometime there to visit your ancestral place. So have some information about that also. I stress that it is not necessary that you have all the information about a place, because you are not encyclopedia. The interviewer also knows that you are normal human being. But project that you are not a normal careless human being. You are a normal human being which knows at least something about the place your father was born, you visited, or the place of tourist interest where you had been. It is not just that you went, you can say, we went to such and such place with our friends for merrymaking, and then you forget about anything. You just kept on eating, drinking and doing masti, and nothing, no sightseeing and nothing of touristic importance you had imbibed. So that you must do. Now, district to which your father originally belonged. Now let me tell you, like If they say, if you write in the column, state to which your father belonged, you say Haryana. They might ask you, how old is Haryana? So you know that it's part of PEPSU first when India got independence, and after that somewhere in 16, Punjab and Haryana were separated. So you must know that. Or like Madhya Pradesh, or like Chhattisgarh. So you must know when was Chhattisgarh born, and what is different in Chhattisgarh than in rest of MP. So those things at least, because basic idea is you keep your eyes and ears open not only for this preparation of this interview, but you keep your eyes and ears open for all the time to come. So that is one thing that you must understand. Similarly, and they can ask, what is so peculiar about that, about your state, about the state in which your father was born. So answer should not be that it is peculiar for me, it is important for me because my father was born. You should know what was special in that state. If your father was born, say, in Mizoram, they will ask, most likely, what is the problem in Mizoram? What are the Mizo separatist groups? How they operate, how they developed, how to bring them into the mainstream. So these things will be asked. Those, okay, at the time of coaching for interview or mock interviews, we will try to rectify. But when you fill in form, then you have to be very careful about it. Similarly, district to which your father originally belonged, that also. Every district has got its peculiarity. Be it Varanasi, be it Vijayawada, be it Hooghly, or be it Agartala, every district has got its peculiarity, its speciality. You must know that. And not only the district where your father was born, but district where you have been living. So, same goes with mother, state to which your mother originally belongs, district to which your mother originally belongs. Father's present postal address, there is nothing to add to that. Then, if deceased, give past address, okay. When you are giving past address, that means the applicant's father is deceased. You must know about what disease was he suffering from, what was the cure, how long did it take, has anything improved on this? Because if I say my father died of cancer, lung cancer, then I must know that what medicines he was given. At least if I am grown up and at that time my father died. If my father died when I was a little child, then there is no problem. But try to have that knowledge. And then, is there any difference in the new techniques to cure lung cancer now? Has science given a new development in this area? This also. So, mother's present postal address, okay. Whether your family owns or possesses any of the following assets, 5 acres of agricultural land and above, residential flat, such and such, residential plot, such and such. Now, in these ones, whenever you give information, probably they will try to decide whether you are from EWS, economically weaker section, because that contains some provisions of land, maximum land that an EWS, a person can hold in order to be declared from EWS. Now, educational qualification. Here again, you will give your educational qualification, all right, but they are likely to ask, why did you choose the subjects you did? 10th and 12th you can say, okay, science or this, But in graduation, undergraduation, post-graduation, doctoral, they say, why did you choose this subject? What made you choose this subject? You should be prepared to that. Don't hesitate. If they say, oh, you have done engineering, why have you done engineering? You can say to get better knowledge in a crisp form. But they might ask, well, you have done engineering and now you want to leave all your specialized qualification and go to bureaucracy. Why? They also might ask you that the government of India spends at least 15 to 20 lakh rupees per student of engineering subsidy, which is not known to us, not clear, but government subsidizes the purchase of, subsidizes the land on which your institution is located, subsidizes the cost of equipments, etc., chemicals, etc. So, government spends at least 15 to 20 lakh rupees on one engineering or medical student. And there had been clamor all over for quite some time that why should government spend this type of money, exorbitant money to students of engineering and medical, when after passing out they do not serve the purpose of the subject or specialization they have done, but they jump into bureaucracy. An engineer goes and becomes a police officer. A doctor becomes customs officer. So this is ridiculous, they might say. But then, just one thing, that Indian Constitution does not bar anybody from anybody eligible otherwise for appearing in UPSC examination. So, UPSC never says that if you have done political science, you cannot go and become customs officer, or if you have done engineering, you cannot become IPS. It is our constitutional right. And it might be loss of engineering or medical, but it is gain for bureaucracy. Because you, with your qualification, with your mind, with your ability to analyze, are serving the government. So, never be hesitant or never be defensive about your qualification. So, whatever qualification you write, be sure that to tell why you wanted to study this subject. And there is no harm, there is no shame. You should not be shameful about, oh, I studied only sociology. No, sociology is not only sociology, it is one of the subjects. So, these things, and then the university or institution you studied at. If you have studied, say, from IIT Kanpur, IIT Delhi, they might ask, well, you have studied in IIT Delhi for 5 years. How was IIT Delhi formed? When was it formed? When was it established? Which other countries helped India to establish IIT Delhi? Nowadays, Google has all the information. Most of it you can gather it. So, even if you have studied in some college in some remote area, like Gangaram Jaiswal College, say for example, I don't know whether there is a college like that with that name, but then they would in all probability ask you, who was Gangaram Jaiswal? And you should not go blank on that, my dear. That's it. Why you should have known that the college I studied was established by such and such in such and such, and he was such a philanthropist, or he was such a benevolent person, or he was such a saint, or whatever education is. So, you must know that. They might ask about your teachers, about your subject, that if you have done BSc, say 3 subjects, and which subject you liked most and why. So whatever you write, you be prepared to answer about that. And as I said, it is not necessary that they don't need an encyclopedia in a competitor. They need at least some basic workable knowledge about the things that you have, that you are through. Higher education qualification, same. Then you see, please give particulars at university, state, national level in respect of prizes, medals, scholarships. Should not hesitate to mention if you have one. If you don't have one, don't mention it. No problem. You can say, I was generally involved with my study, and that's why I was not able to, because they don't want jack of all. They don't want somebody who is a master of everything, every sport. They don't want a Sunil Gavaskar or Sachin Tendulkar in you, but they want at least that if you are interested in sports, if you are interested in cricket, you must know the basic things about cricket, basic rules about cricket. You must know the distance between length of the pitch. You must know the width of the wicket. You must know the width of the bat or weight of the ball, white ball or red ball. So these things, and nowadays you can get it from Google. So prizes, medals, scholarships, sports, NCC, be truthful. Even if you are involved in, they are not asking, please give particulars at university, state level in respect of, or particulars of prizes won in respect of these things. Prizes is the first one. Second one is sports NCC. You need not say that I was college champion, I was university champion, or I was state champion. I was a player, I was in a team, or I was in the reserve. So I was not very much interested. I was a chess player. You need not be in a big team. Then positions of distinction, leadership held in school, college. Like many schools, colleges have societies, debating society, Hindi society, English society, literary society, cultural society. If at all you have been member or any office bearer of any of these societies, please do mention it. And be ready to tell about the society that, well, during the 3 years or 5 years I studied in university, these were the societies I was member of, and this society did this society did that. Basic information at least you should know. Another one is extracurricular activities, solving puzzles and riddles. Excites me. Solving puzzles and riddles. If you are interested not in nothing else but solving puzzles and riddles, no harm in telling that. That is also a mental exercise. That I do that, or I go for social work. If you go for social work, if you see poor people, if you try to help, if you form an organization, a small group of students to do that, you mention it. There is nothing wrong in that. Now, the next is preference of states. Now, generally, people who prefer IAS and IPS and who wish to get into one of these two services, generally they prefer their home state. Reason being simple. IAS and IPS had over the years become the most sought after service because there is a glamour. Power is there, but there is a glamour, and the glamour has to be. Glamour is apparent for your relations, your friends and others to see. That my son, my brother, my friend, my such and such is a district magistrate or is a SSP. When you come with baton or with the car with bacons, yeah. So there is no harm in giving your home state as preference. However, if you don't want to give your home state as preference, you give another state which you feel comfortable with in working. Like if you are from Delhi and you have given Pondicherry or you have given Telangana, and then you are asked, why have you chosen Telangana? You must be prepared for that. If you are in Delhi or if you are in, say, UP or Punjab, Haryana, you have chosen your home state. They will ask, if they ask, you can tell them that this is my home state, my own people. I know my own people and I know how, therefore I know how to handle them. Very plus point. Because if you know your state well, you will be able to handle your people in a better way than the person from other state. If the person from other state comes, if a person from Tamil Nadu comes to Bihar, first he or she will have to learn the language, and for a few years he or she will have to be dependent on others for translation. But if you come from a place, if you opt for a state where you belong to, there is no problem of communication. So there is no harm in that. But if you choose any other state, try to find out, try to be sure why. Now, one thing I will say from my experience with different states in India, though I have not served in different states in India, only 1 or 2 times on deputation. But my experience is, with due apologies to people from North India, that people from South India and Northeast are much more respectful than the people from North or Central India. Many of you must have gone and seen that if you go to South, irrespective of what your age is, you are a student or you are an officer or you are a farmer, most of them, they will address you as sir. And they will not shout or they will not go to fist fight like here in Delhi they do. Some of you might have experienced this. So, but it all boils down to the fact that in which state you think you have a better prospect. For that, maybe if you have time, I don't know what is the last date for filling up the second. 14. Oh, just around the corner. So anyway, whichever state you fill, you be ready to answer about that. And for that, you study about this state. You will find one or another reason which you can put forth to your interviewer that I want to go there. Like in Punjab, if they say, why do you want to go to Punjab? You can say, because Punjab is border state, it is very sensitive state, it borders with Pakistan, and there is drug problem, there is liquor problem, and we have to. And you can say, because Punjabis are very open-hearted, very good people to deal with, they will not hide anything. If they have to shout, they will shout at you, they will tell the truth. So you go, whatever state you have given, even if you have given some state by mistake which you did not want to, try to find out about that state so that you can justify your choice there. So I won't, these states are divided in zones, I won't go in different zones particularly, but like I'll say, like Gujarat. Gujarat is, anybody from Gujarat? Good. Gujarat is supposed to be a peaceful state by and large. That's why probably not many of Gujaratis have joined military. They are big in business, but they are very big, very shrewd in business. And they are very peaceful, because a businessman will have to be peaceful. His whole asset is on stakes. So like Gujarat, like Madhya Pradesh, people are just quite good, but some of Madhya Pradesh areas, Adivasi areas, that is Baitul and other places, they are underdeveloped. You can say that they are underdeveloped, and I want to see them develop. I want to ensure that if I am posted, they develop. Same goes with Chhattisgarh. People are very docile, very peaceful. Delhi, if they say Delhi, you can say because it is capital, and because I have all the amenities of service. And when it comes to service, never try to be never try to sound very patriotic that I have come to join this service because I want to do service to nation. Everybody serves the nation. They will say, you could have served the nation by being a farmer, by being an industrialist, by being a social worker. So tell that I have come here to join this service because this service gives me authority and avenues to improve the society, which is my goal. Authority and avenues both. Because if you are a social worker, you don't have authority. But if you are district magistrate, you can do things with authority. So don't try to pretend that false pretension that you are joining civil services only because you are a nationalist or you want to serve the nation. Every service is equal. Everybody serves the nation, as they said in Jesus in Bible. He also serves who only stands and waits. So don't be that much pretentious. Now, like Jharkhand is backward state. There is lot to be done in Jharkhand. You see in newspapers daily all sort of crimes happening. And Jharkhand is a state full of minerals like Chhattisgarh, like Telangana. Odisha again, almost the same thing. Uttar Pradesh, well, politically active and cradle of civilization. And you had so many parties, and that is being the biggest state population-wise. That is the one which basically decides the future of Delhi. So every state has got something. Nagaland, Manipur, you can say, because these seven sisters, Nagaland and Manipur, they are the states where tourism has to be developed, where you see many cultures in different forms and types. So every state has got its own importance. You will have to decide which one should be your first choice, second choice, third choice, zone wise, and you will be able to justify that. Same goes with services. Same goes with services. There are a lot of services now. This year, railway management service has been included. All the railway services have been fused into it. Undoubtedly, nowadays, IAS followed by IPS are the most wanted services. But you will be surprised to know that before Kothari Commission's recommendations were implemented, and I was almost first of that victim of that because I joined in 81. So before that, in old system, IPS was the lowest preferred service. Lowest. There were different type of examination schedule, no pre, only main examination. You have to choose two lower subject for IPS, three lowers, that means one more for allied services, and then two higher papers for IFS and IAS. So IFS and IAS were considered to be toughest and highest ranking jobs. IPS, because people used to sometimes say, he has done only two lowers. He's just an IPS. And also because those days IPS reports, confidential annual reports of IPS were being written by IAS officers, by district magistrate. So, sort of they were subservient to district magistrates. But later on this anomaly was clear. Nowadays district magistrate doesn't write the reports of IPS. But yes, he has a say. Because IAS is jack of all. Today you are district magistrate, tomorrow you are commissioner, the day after tomorrow you will be vice chairman of some corporation, Damodar Valley Corporation, or maybe Rihand Corporation, or maybe Bhakra Valley Corporation, or Food Corporation. There are a lot of avenues. And because of that, there have been resentment in other services. That Department of Finance, Finance Secretary is an IAS, whereas the income tax, the customs, the GST, these departments earn money for the government. But these departments, but these people are bossed around by them. Health Secretary, doctors are bossed by IAS. So, olden days, IFS was, now I won't like to brag about my services, but IFS was also one of the best service, and top 10 or 20 depending on the number of vacancies were given IFS. So, IFS is also, well, it is charming, but you cannot show it to your people here in India. Somebody once told me, when my grandfather was very upset with me, when I left PCS, State Civil Services in UP, and joined IFS. He said, what can you do? Can you get somebody out on bail? Can you arrange a sack of sugar in control for somebody's marriage? What can you do? So, and once or sometimes people ask me, you know, if you understand Hindi, then there is a saying, "Jungle mein mor nacha kisne dekha?" I said, you are jungle ka mor. Nobody says. I said, well, जंगल में मोर नाचता है तो अपनी खुशी से नाचता, दिखाने के लिए नहीं नाचता. हाँ. So anyway, so in IFS also, IFS the plus and minus points I will tell. Plus points are that you always work with decent people. Either in embassies you work with your people, or you deal with other ambassadors, or minister, president, prime minister, or big industrialist. You are not given responsibility to deal with कि आज डालडा कम है, कल student protection है, परसों मिट्टी का तेल नहीं है. No. So that is one thing. And then other thing is, it's nice service. Your pay package is very high. And you have diplomatic immunity, as you must be knowing. You are almost above the law of the land you are serving in. So if you are in Kenya, no Kenyan laws apply on you because of the Geneva Convention, sorry. So these things, and then you can import your things you want. Government gives you 1 container load, permission to transport 1 container load of your household things. When you are posted in an embassy, there is an entitlement for your house, how many bedrooms, you are given furniture, you are given crockery, cutlery and glassware, all exclusive with the Ashoka emblem there in gold. You are given money for servants, domestic helps, you are allowed to come back on holidays within a posting, and after that at government cost along with your servant. Like if you are posted in USA and after 1 year you decide to come on holiday, so the government will give you the business class ticket for your family as well as servant, return ticket. And if from Canada you are posted to, from USA you are posted to Canada, your baggage will go there straight. You can again come in between posting, you can again come here. And then you will be given Bharat Darshan tour, because in Canada, if there are Indian companies which are working in Canada, you are supposed to go meet them in India, find out what problems they have so that you can take that there. So these things are there. At higher level you even get car, you get electricity allowance, you get everything. But, there is big but when you come here, you are just a civil servant. Then you are Indian, you are not a diplomat. Your diplomatic immunities in India don't exist, they exist only for foreign-based diplomats. So you are an Indian officer like any other, like income tax commissioner or like customs, like railway, well, you are like that. So it is not, so that is the flop side of it. So you, and you save a decent amount, all number one. Yes, all number one, because I tell you, when you are posted at third secretary, like if you are given a foreign service, after 2 years of training in Lal Bahadur Shastri Academy, you come for a training, after 6 months later, you come for a 2-year training in Delhi, in FSI, which is in JNU, Foreign Service Institute, where you will be allotted a language. Every IFS officer is allotted a language. And then, after you have spent 2 years, you will be sent to a country as third secretary where the language is spoken. And your only job is, the ambassador will get you admitted in the university to learn the language. So you learn the language, you read the newspapers, you try to summarize it and present it to ambassador. So that is, and at that time, I don't know now, but maybe now, you are given your basic salary, no DA, no house allowance because you are given house. Your children will be admitted in international school, 10% medical facilities will be available. And besides your basic, which is based in India, besides your basic, you get about, start from $2,000 a month. And all that tax free. Yes, all that tax free. Even if your basic is taxable, you pay tax and the government reimburses you as an additional foreign allowance. So you don't pay even single penny tax on that. So that is flip side, but flop side is when you come back to India, you are like everybody else. There is no special treatment for you. Similarly, railway service. Railway service, railway and defense. One big thing that these people have is that they don't have to worry about accommodation. Railways have vast properties and you get sprawling Bangla and Mali and this and that and Khalasi even now. And so it is with other defense services, defense estate services, defense account services. But again, you are within that. You don't have to show, you can't show your people that, look, I am this and that. So that is, postal service is okay service. Audit and account is the best service for promotions. Highest rate of promotion is in audit and account. In 13, earlier it was 17 years, now it is 14th year, you become a joint secretary level officer because it is expanding. So these are the services that, then again, of course, there are B grade services. Indian trade service is good, information service is good. Railway protection force, yes, you have something to show your worthy and other things. Then you have revenue service, we have covered. So then there is this Delhi and Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep, Daman and Diu, and Dadra and Nagar Haveli police services or civil services. They are also good. you have to remain only in these areas. Promotions are good, and you become IAS or IPS in, I think, 20 years of service. 20 years with some seniority. So there are a lot of services, corporate law service, it is a new service, but it will expand fast with the expansion of trade and business in India. Then you have postal, railway protection, railway management, revenue service, that is customs and so these are the services, and you have to choose among them, first, second, third, that way option, and always they will always ask, what is your first preference and why? This is something they would never skip, because if you have preferred something, if you want something from the government, why do you want that particular thing from government? So this you will have to be very careful while filling it. And as you must have seen, you must have read, once you fill a particular option, you are not allowed to change. Only next year you can, if you get, say, into Indian Postal Service this year, next year you can try to get better service, and for better service they won't allow you any of the allied services. For better service means IAS, IPS and IFS. If you next year qualify, there have been cases when students qualify for IPS, they become IPS, they try again, they become IAS. Sometimes my niece, she is an IPS, she tried next 2 attempts but could not get into, so she had to reconcile with that. So, and whatever service you, and if they say, they would also ask you one question, most likely, if you don't get this service, if you get that service, what will you do? Don't say, no, I will be dissatisfied, I will leave. No, this service is equally good, but I would try again to have a better prospect. And nowadays, like I said, one more thing, last thing maybe, like they say, why engineers and doctors come here? The record shows that engineers and doctors have infused new ideas in administration. When I was posted in Sweden from 1996 to 2000, I came across 2 young officers, both engineers, or one engineer and one doctor, district magistrate and district superintendent of police in Dhar, in MP. And I was surprised. Those days computers were quite a new thing for India. What they had done, because they told me, sir, in Dhar, the district is too long, too big physically. So what used to happen is, the farmer at one corner of Dhar would go to, with all his produce, say onion, would go to the district mandi and then find that, and to his utter despair find that prices have plummeted. So he covers 40-45 kilometers in hired vehicle, hired labor, goes there in anticipation that he will get better price for his produce, but instead he will not get it. So what these 2 guys did, they installed computers in every village panchayat and connected it to Mandi Samiti, so that every morning the supervisor of Mandi Samiti will tap and write aaj ka bhav, so that the farmer can see before getting out for Mandi, he can see that today's price is this much and this is not suitable for me, so better I hold it. Or today's price is good, better I rush. So that made a lot of difference. And that's because they were young blood, they were engineers. And they knew that these things can work and can help. So these things, so you can, if any of you are engineers or they are okay, you have technical qualification, why do you want to infuse new ideas? In this world of internet, now the sky is the limit. So, my friends, these things, and about your status, social status, that is what SC, ST, OBC, EWS, this creamy layer, below creamy layer or above creamy layer, you must be prepared to answer questions on this. If you are from SC, ST, believe me, they are not going to look down upon you. They cannot, they should not, and they cannot. But they will ask. They will ask, why do you think that reservation is still necessary? Why do you think that reservation is not necessary? What is creamy layer? Why is creamy layer at only 8 lakh rupees per year? Whereas income tax exemption starts from 2 lakhs. So that means if somebody is earning 4 lakhs, he is liable for tax. But if somebody is earning, but he is not liable for being above creamy layer. So you have to understand, you will have to analyze, and between now and day of interview, read whatever you can, how much you can. It is not that you don't read this, you don't read that. You read your things also, but in passing you read everything. They might ask you about films, Filmfare Awards, best lyricist. And if you are saying, if you put your hobby watching movies, there is nothing wrong in that. But then hobby means something which you do with passion, which you do with full attention. So if film is your hobby, which is your most favorite film? Why was it most favorite film? What part of the film you liked best? Acting, direction, photography, costumes, lyrics, or screenplay. So try to know about the things that you want to tell. And sometimes they give you a chance to mold yourself. So sometimes they give you a chance to mold in sense that they are asking some question and you can mold the question in a way that they ask that their next questions will be the best one you are prepared for. So, but right now it is only for this DAF 2. So there are many other things. Whether the family owns or possesses agricultural land, if yes, whether the agricultural land held by family is equal to or more than 5 acres, area of agriculture. Now, what crops are there? What is the irrigation facility? How is the water table going down? How below is it? For brothers, sisters, acres, these areas, and whether family residential plots, how big is residential plot if you have, and then they might ask, oh, you have 500 square meter residential plot, so you are a rich person. You say, but I have my brothers, my sisters, all of them are there to share it. It doesn't mean that it is owned by me only, it is owned jointly. So there are things that you can reply residential plots, and then I think undertaking and EWS things. So these are the things that you have to keep in mind while filling in DF2 form. It is not necessary that right now you start reading everything, but at least you start reading everything about those things that you have mentioned, about your father's job, your mother's job, their salary, their income, your brother, sibling salary, income, your marital status, your state, your district, besides all other things that you will be studying yourself. So with that, my friends, I conclude my lecture, or Now, if there are any questions, I am here to face the bombardment. So please, and are there any questions online?
Yes, sir. We have a few questions like from YouTube. Some aspirants are watching
Can you come over here, please?
Sure, sir.
Yeah. Do you have a question, or should I answer the questions therefore? Yeah, please. No, like if they ask, what have you been doing between graduation and preparation for these services? Frankly, tell them whatever. If you are helping your parents in their business, if you are helping your parents in their agriculture, farming, tell them that there was a situation I was doing. Then they might ask, why did you all of a sudden decide to switch over to the government service? See, it is not all of a sudden. It was in my dream, but only thing is there was a gap, there was a hiatus because I had some responsibility back home. Or if you are doing in business, if you are doing a private job, you can always say, okay, I was doing a private job to support myself and my family, to support my preparation. Or if you are doing a private job, because you were doing a private job because that was the first job you got. But then your aim was this, because you wanted authority and passion and capacity to serve. Commerce. So no problem. You can say when I took commerce in my +2, but now at graduation, I am more interested in political systems of the world which are fast changing, different type of government, different type of government systems, and international relations. It is fast changing, so it got me interested in this.
Sir, how to answer questions that suppose that I am having political science and international relations is an optional. Keeping Indian foreign service at a lower level, so would it be counted that having IR as a subject and you are ignoring the subject as such? Not giving
No. You can say it is not necessary that I opt this subject because these are scoring subjects. Frank. And that is the truth. Because these are scoring subjects. Whereas services are concerned, I want to be approachable by my people, by my family, by my parents. Because if I stay somewhere 24 hours by air, it won't be possible for me to come in time of emergency. This is what happened to me. I was posted in Brazil as Consul General. My father expired. I immediately started, but it took 24 hours to reach. By that time, he was cremated. So sometimes these things happen. Now, what are the questions they say?
Right.
Just a minute, my friend.
Sir, the first question is from a student. His name is Ayush Agarwal. So he has asked, what is the criteria for choosing home state?
Well, if you are choosing home state, as I told you, they will ask you why have you chosen your home state. So the simple thing that I am familiar with the state I was born. I know the people, their tendencies, I know their habits, I know the political system that works in that state. Right, so I'll be much more at home, much more at ease while in my state.
Right. So Ayush, sir has answered your query related to what is the criteria for choosing the home state. I would like to add some information to what sir has shared. One of the thing is like as part of the DAF filling process, right? UPSC has uploaded one instruction set. So once you download the instruction set, the later part of the instruction set has guidelines from the Department of Personnel and Training for filling the DAF. So in this guideline, they have mentioned about cadre allocation policy. So the government of India has, cadre allocation policy 2017. So like this particular cadre allocation policy is uploaded in the website of the Department of Personnel and Training. So any one of you who would like to go into the legality, who would like to understand little more, can go to the Department of Personnel and Training website. You can download the cadre allocation policy, and over here they have mentioned that whatever cadre you select, whatever details that you select or mention while filling the DAF 2, it will not be allowed to be modified or altered at any point of time, for this particular examination of this year. This is one part. And apart from this, right, so related to selection of cadres, so they have categorized the things into different zones. Zone 1 has AGMAT cadre and like some of these states. Then zone 2 has some of the biggest states in middle of India or to the northern side. Then zone 3, zone 4, like that. So here they have mentioned if you in this particular guideline itself, in this particular instruction set, they have mentioned if you prefer your home state, in that case it will be given the first preference. If you don't prefer your home cadre to be a home state, so subsequently it will not be allowed. So the information is mentioned in the instruction set itself related to cadre allocation policy. So in your free time, the person who has asked this question and all other persons who will be having some query related to that, you can read the instruction set. There is a specific point mentioned also related to home cadre, cadre allocation policy. Anyone having any questions, further questions related to this, you can ask this question. So we'll try to answer. So this was one of the question from Ayush Agarwal. So I'll be reading another question. This question is
just a minute. Let me clarify one more thing. Cadre once allotted remains with you till your service ends, till you retire, except for in a few conditions. One, on marital basis. If a girl is married, if a girl, say having been allotted Bihar cadre, is married to a person in Haryana cadre, and the girl belongs to Haryana or to the northern India, then the woman officer will be transferred to husband's cadre. But it will not be vice versa. This you must be sure. And sometimes people do that. My niece is Assam cadre IPS. He said, I wanted to come to UP cadre. I said, marry some UP cadre IPS officer. So,
right.
Yes.
So shall I read another question?
Please.
Yes. So we have another person, Vishal Singh. He has asked a question, what qualities must a candidate have to be suitable for Indian Foreign Services?
You see, qualities, the qualities that candidate should have are not specific to Indian Foreign Service or Indian Administrative Service or any other service for that point. When you decide about your service, your cadre and your service is decided on the basis of your merit, come your preference. So, if you are suitable for any other service, you are suitable for foreign service.
Right, sir.
Because even if you don't know anything about foreign service, the service makes you know during your career.
Right, sir. So we had two questions from YouTube, specific to this
Any
session.
other questions? Only two small bumps. Right then, friends. Inshallah, I'll be helping you in mock interviews as well. And then we'll try to brush you up for the interview. But these people, they are very smart, but they are not demons. They are very smart. They just want to bring out from you. And they want to know how truthful you are. When you try to evade things and say, no, this happened, that happened, no. When you try to make excuses, because in interview, you know how an interview is conducted. There are many boards. and one board is chaired by one member. Not all are the members, but there is one member who chairs a particular board and the rest of them experts in their fields or experts in various fields of society. So they just want to know how truthful a future officer can be, how good he or she can be, and I mean, faith is not a point that you say that, okay, I will be always yours and this and that. That doesn't work. But yes, whatever you say, be polite, be truthful, and be prepared to explain why you said this. That is why they say that if you say, open your mouth, before opening your mouth, you think 10 times. So that is what you should do. So all the best, and we will leave after you have filled in DAF 2, then probably we will meet and we will start the mock interview and other sessions.
Right, sir.
So you mentioned about that agriculture land also, how much acre?
Pardon?
Agriculture land, like 5 acres something.
No,
Total number of
if you have an agriculture land,
I may have, sir, but if I didn't mention, I can avoid that kind of question also. So why should I mention that?
yeah, you avoid if you don't want to know, if you don't want to fall into trap of not knowing more about agriculture, you avoid it. They are not going to inquire why you said you don't have agricultural land and now you have agricultural land, because that might come sometime during your service. When, say, suppose, God forbid, a CBI inquiry is against you for anything, and they found that this officer said that he doesn't own any agricultural land, whereas he owned. And if you said you didn't have any agricultural land and you are found to have agricultural land, they'll say it is beyond your means. So that will put you in problem. No, you can say jointly owned. Jointly owned, because if the land is in name of your grandparent, it is yours but not now. You are in legal term, it is called co-parsency. You are not an allotee of that. You are not, because until and unless as long as your father is there. If unfortunately your father and grandfather both are not there on the estate, then probably you get land. Otherwise, you are co-parson. It is co-parsency. So you can say jointly owned. It is in my grandfather's name and jointly owned. But then you must know about this co-parsency and other thing. That okay, jointly I jointly own the land. But then what are the rules about it? So that is why I said, whatever information you give at this time, be sure to defend it, be sure to know about it, to tell them about it. Right. Okay.
Sir, we have one more question, like
please.
it is from some other online thing. This question is from Vagmare, like one of the student. He said, can I put IFS as the first choice even as Hindi is my medium of interview?
Why not? Why not? Not only Hindi medium. Hindi medium is not a bad medium. People have been appearing in competition from different media, and I remember quite a number of IFS officers are from Hindi medium or from other regional media. And not only that, there is an IAS officer, a lady, who is visually impaired. You must have seen. So all type of people are there, physically differently able people are there. So appearing in interview from Hindi medium is not bad. But the thing is that if you have not mentioned, not appeared, not written your main examination in Hindi, then probably you cannot appear in interview in Hindi.
Right,
That's
sir.
one catch. So either you will have to be Hindi or regional language all the way.
No, sir. Now this time they are providing the people that you can appear for the personality test in any other language, whether you have, irrespective of the fact that whether you have written the examination.
Is it like that? Then all the best for you.
And one more information is there, like in the instruction set they have mentioned that the language that you have chosen for interview, like while filling the DAF 1, you have to maintain the same language
that you
while
cannot change at the
filling
time of
DAF
interview.
2. You cannot change that part. I mean, like it is mentioned in this instruction set. So you need to read the instruction very well, go through it once again, like if you have any doubt in any of these statements, like clarify that doubt so that you do not make any mistake. And it is also mentioned, like if a student, let's say if someone is allocated, let's say IPS earlier, so like he cannot opt for IPS again, I mean through this particular examination, like in this year, like that. I mean this information is also there. So cadre related information is mentioned in the later half of the instruction set, right? It is from Department of Personnel and Training.
And see, if you are allocated a cadre in IFS, if say you have been allocated Kerala and you are from Punjab, you cannot appear again to improve your ranking and get IPS allocated in Punjab cadre. One type of service, central service, if you have been allocated central service, then you will be next year again, if you qualify, you will be considered for other 3 services if you have the merit. If you have the IPS, you can always qualify, appear later on, and if you are in the merit, you can get IAS. But not the same cadre again, not the change of cadre again. For change of cadre, you are not allowed to appear again. IFS, there is no cadre. This is whole world is cadre, so that won't affect.
Right. So any more questions from people who are online or offline? Sir will be available to answer those questions. Online, I guess one of the students, Sakshma, she wants to ask something. So like, is there any question from your side? She had raised hand. I mean, like there is a technical way of raising hand through the Zoom session.
Meanwhile, you were saying something.
Sorry, so IFS also you face any language problem or something. So I'm from South, I'm facing so much language problem here. So here major is Hindi.
No, language problem in the sense that
Conversation in between, you need any translator or something.
no. If you have appeared in English and if you have failed DF2 in English, interview will be in English. Now, after getting service, if you get a North Indian cadre, then certainly you get, sometimes you are trained in that language, you are taught in that language. But mostly what happened, like if you want to swim, you have to jump in the swimming pool and you will start swimming. So that is because if you are, cadres are only for IPS and IAS. If you are in either of these cadres, you will be dealing with local people. And you will be dealing with local people, by that you will learn language. Though tutti-frutti, whatever type, but you will falter, you will stumble for some years, but you will learn language. And people will be happy. If I go to Tamil Nadu and I start speaking in broken Tamil, people will be happy, like they will say that, look, this guy wants to speak in our language. They will encourage. So, if you are from north, know Hindi well, and speak Hindi badly, then people will mind it. So don't worry about that. Yes, is she still there?
No, she is there. I think she does not have any question. She did not type anything so far.
Okay.
Yeah, she someone has typed a question. Just a minute. Sir, can I put IFS as first choice and IAS as second? As IAS and IAS as considered higher status than IFS.
In these services, I mean constitutionally or in writing, none of these services are considered superior to any other services. All are same, the ranks, the rank same, the pay scales are the same. The only thing is it depends on your choice and its popular perception. As I said, people say, and I don't blame them, that okay, if there is an IPS, there is a badge, there is a baton, there is a car, there are constables surrounding him, sir and all that. There is district magistrate with the beacon car and there are people. So obviously that is glamorous. But again, like railway service, I said you get big bungalow and you get free first class travel anywhere in India, AC first class, and when you get a little higher, saloons. One coach for you, fully equipped coach. So every service has got its benefit and its, like income tax service. Now, in Mumbai, I was told, basically in Maharashtra in general and Mumbai in particular, that nobody gives a damn for IAS. Income tax. Gujarat income tax, because that is rich country, that is rich state. And in rich state, when you have income, then you have to deal with income tax. So it's only in North India that IAS and IPS are considered to be super heavyweight people. And IAS especially because IAS has got so many roles. As I said, sometimes IAS will be made temporarily ad hoc superintendent of a hospital. Sometimes he will be given a charge of an engineering college, which was run badly earlier. Sometimes he is Damodar Valley Nigam, sometimes he is chairman of something else. So different exposure, IAS exposure is very large. IPS exposure is not that much large, but both deal with law and order situation and you will see some people in some states, they are named district magistrates when they are in charge of district. In some other they are named collectors, which is to me it is a big faulty, because collector meant that who collects the revenue. So this district magistrate's work is not limited to collecting the revenue. He is head of administration as well. So that is, and I will finish with one thing. In 2000, in 1999 rather, the ARC, Administrative Reform Commission, they floated suggestions from the officers on reforming the civil services. So I gave a suggestion which was quite seriously taken, I am happy. That when you are in Lal Bahadur Shastri Academy, you are trained, you are taught selling psychology, telling psychology, this, how to, what is PR, how to do with public, how to deal with public. Unfortunately, when they are posted in district, how many people can approach the superintendent of police directly? How many people can approach the district magistrate directly? They will approach the chowkidar or they will approach the lekhpal or patwari, and if somebody has bigger clout, higher kanungo, tahsildar, naib tahsildar, SDM, ADM and then DM. So those people who could approach the higher officer, district in charge of police and administration, they are very few. So paradox is that those officers who are taught public relation in Mussoorie, they seldom have chance to meet the people, public. But the workers, the functionaries, like chowkidar, constable or lekhpal, who have to deal with public, they were never given a public relations training. That is paradox. But I think now probably, now the new generation is very good and officers are going out of box and dealing with general public. These adalats, lok adalats and jan panchayat and all that, that's better thing that is happening. So,
Sir, we have one more question from online. Sir, can we mention a school level meritorious honor prize rather than leaving the column nil?
why not? If you have any meritorious thing, any prizes, any award at any stage, there is no harm in mentioning that. But you must know what is the award, why was it given. So something about the award you must know. There is no harm absolutely on any, at any stage of life, educational life, you can mention those awards. But then again you have to be prepared that if you say that, okay, when I was in grade 8th, I was given an award in debate, then they might counter. What happened after that? Why did you stop debating, participating in debate? So be prepared for that.
Right, sir. Right. So Sakshma, like we hope like you have received response to your query. All right.
So friends, with this, I take you leave, and we shall inshallah meet at the time of interview. At the time of mock interviews. Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.